Good night. Thank you for coming. I'm Bia Bittencourt, and I come from a far country, Brazil, in Latin America. And I decided to separate my presentation in 3 chapters because I was a little bit lost about what I will talk about. Because I do a lot of things, and I saw a lot of good works, and I work as an artist too, and I have no idea what I will talk about. So I decided to talk about three things. The first one is a little bit presentation about myself, just to contest what I'm doing here. So that's me 2 days ago, enjoying India, and that's my country. And that's my country in the global map. And I took like almost 2 days, 2 days in a plane to get here. And as far as I am, the culture is a little bit different. So India is so crazy for me. And it's very nice to see all of these works here because for me, as a curator, it's so inspiring to see this. So, about me. I started to work as an animator. I studied art in my first year of university. I started to work at MTV Brazil, doing that vignettes, everyone knows, that crazy videos. So I don't know how can I play the video. Let me see. Oh, okay. And I did a lot of animations made by hand, with cuts and stop motions like this, creating characters. And I do this until today. This is very old. This have 10 years. I don't draw like this anymore. This is weird to me, for me to see again. This is so old. Like I made some video clips for kids and that kind of thing. Like this is a video clip from a Brazilian musician, Arnaldo Antunes. He is poet and musician. So I made, I wish I can pass fast, but I think I can do it with this. I'll stay for a little bit, but it's about the small animals in the forest at night. So I'll pass. I started teaching. Before the animation, I teach for 5 months art for kids. And then I worked at MTV. Design always around my life because when you work with art and you need to work to pay your bills, you do everything. So design is always around me. I never stopped to work with art, so I photograph, do books, and draw until today. So it's an important thing for me until today. I started, after MTV, I started to work as a journalist in the major newspaper in Brazil, Folha de São Paulo, in the video section. And then I started to make documentaries. And all of this is happening in a short period of life. But I'm showing this to say that I have a very confused background, and that's why I always have difficulties to talk about me, because I have no idea what's the main objective of my life. So I still make documentaries until today, and long-term movies and that kind of thing. I love photography, and all my books I do books, and all of them are about my photographies and my projects with photography. And when I decided to make the art book fair, I became a producer too, because I need to learn how to produce something. With the art book fair, I should learn how to publish and edit books, because there is a residency project, there is a lot of things involving the books making. So it's important to know how to make it, to talk about it. And the most recent stuff I'm doing, like the last 4 years, is to curate exhibitions, and most of them about books exhibition or art books exhibition. And now my next step is go to the woods and make cheese. The second chapter is about my project, Plana. It's the São Paulo Art Book Fair, and it is the major art book fair in Latin America. This is a picture of the last edition. It was at the Biennial building, and it was 20,000 people in 2 days of fair. So there's a lot of activities happening, a lot of talks, a lot of exhibitors selling books, and it's a pattern of art book fair. There is a lot of in the world, and this become the most important art book fair in Latin America. There is some images. Every year I choose a theme to talk about. The last one was the end of the world, and the next one will be about nothing. And this was happening in this image is a guest, it's a musician, making a speech of a text or a part of a book or something that he will save if the words over. So we invited a lot of people to do this, and this is one of the things that happened. This is the Niemeyer building. It's crazy to work in a building like this, because there is a lot of history involved in because the biennial happens there, and there's a lot of difficulties to make a festival inside a place like this too. This is another part of the fair. The people of print, posters, and graphic producers. Every year there is 2 or 3 exhibitions. This is one of them. The talks, the guests. Well, Plana is about self-publishing. Most of the publishers are independent, or they are artists self-publishing. There is no big publishers from the market selling books there. And there is a movement that started since the first fair until now of big publishers breaking, and then these people, these very good people, editors, designers, are creating small publishers, and then these people is making books with much more liberty, and they are participating and selling books in fairs like this one. So the first edition, I had 80 exhibitors, and now the last edition there was 250. In the first edition, I had 2 talks. In the last edition, 22. In the first edition, 3,000 visitors. In the last one, 20,000. This was a weird growing that I can't understand yet, because it's a movement that started, and I'm very deep inside of it, and it's difficult to understand when you are in the middle of the hurricane, but I'm trying to see a little bit outside, because maybe it's an important thing to carry for other places that don't have this culture of make people be more free to and understand that it's a little bit easier than people imagine, publishing a book or put the things that matter in the world. So I have a space too, for 2 years. It's Casa Plana, Plana's house. Now it's in a Copan. It's a very important building in São Paulo. And it's a place to, there is a library with more than 4,000 artists' books. And every day there is a workshop or a course happening there. And a space for exhibitions, and most of them are art books. And this one was about La Bibliothèque Fantastique. It is a collection of Situationist International. It's a French movement, and it's the last exhibition I made there. This was another exhibition. This was at the last Plana with important photographer Sofia Borges. This was the exhibition I made in Tokyo. These are 2 exhibitions. This one is with Fabio Zimbres, arts that will show you soon. And there, an exhibition of books, art books from Brazil. This is another exhibition of books that became untouchable matter. And then, okay, the most interesting. I brought a kind of exhibition, portable exhibition to show, with books that I think match with the festival here. They are not comics, but they come from this universe and deconstruct the universe of narratives and images at all. So I heard that people from comics love research, and I think I will just show some inputs to you and some names, and I think you can take notes to see these works, because they are awesome. And I brought the books too. I can show after the talk somewhere, because I think for me the matter is very important, the printed matter. So this one is mine. Is a very weird book that I made in Risograph, because there was a Risograph at my space, and it's funny to have a printer, and you can make whatever you want and experiment. And it's funny to experiment things that you usually don't do, like drawing. I never draw. I don't know how to draw. This is ugly, and it's okay. It's okay. Just experimentation, and this is important to try to do things. So this is an important, very, very important cartoonist from Brazil, and I want to show him because I think she have a very nice story to research. Laerte started in the 80s with Piratas do Tietê. I'll show the book. And Laerte was married, have a son, and decided like 5 years ago to transgender. And now Laerte is this guy. We call she, not he anymore. And she is very, very special and very talented, and the most important cartoonist from Brazil, I think. For me, it's he published in the most important newspapers, but he still figures out. She still figures out to print and publish alone or very independent works. And his son, she's son, is publisher too, Rafael Coutinho. He have a publisher too, Cachalote. And this is the 80s characters from Laerte, Piratas do Tietê. It is very, very important and a little bit rare to find. So you can see it's a little bit old. Other artists for me is like God, is Fábio Zimbres. Zimbres started to edit this 80s magazine too. It's a magazine with traditional comics, but he is very, he subverted a lot the narratives, and this is his work now. He produced a lot of small photocopied zines, and he do it like 10 of these every day. And they are very free. His drawings are in Plana Festival. Zimbres always every year have a table with a lot of pens and pencils and papers, and all of these books he made in front of you for you. This one is from the last edition he made for me, and by hand. They are unique editions. It's beautiful. This one is it's more traditional book. It's very fast, isn't it? A very traditional book, but the drawings are beautiful. And it's a history. He is telling a history, but there is no text, no nonsense, but I like this way to tell something. Marcelo Sips is from the old generation too, and he's an important artist, but important illustrator, and he makes kinda comics too, like this. No, like this. It's a superhero book. And these cuts in the paper are to create sculptures with the paper, and this book was published for a big publisher, Kozak Naif, but is sponsored like by him and galleries, and it's made by very old-fashioned way. This is a very new journal, really. It's made by Matheus Ascioli, a nice drawer too. It's about today, what's happening today. There is international guests too, but it's about what's happening today. I can show you. I have here. This one is a work of Mateus, personal work. He loves to work with different papers and things made by hand and just constructions. This one, André Sandoval, is an artist and illustrator too. This book is for kids, and in English is called Fold. It's a book to fold and invent different narratives to subvert the history sometime. And the text in the end is from Augusto de Campos, a very, very important poet alive in Brazil. This one, Fernando Pérez, he's at all from comics and drawing in this world. He's an artist from Biennale. But he made this book with a publisher from the Northeast, and it's about the animals he have in his house in the Northeast. So he invented a history to talk about every animal appears in his house, and this was printed in risograph. I don't know if you have riso here in India or if you are used it to eat, but in Brazil I think the most used now print to make self-publishing is the risograph machine. Everyone is making books in riso. This one is from my boyfriend. It's disappeared, the book. It's very lighting. But he's illustrator too, and he started to make books because of Plana Festival too. This is a movement that I feel proud to make part, to make people work and invent these ways to create and to talk stories. That's it. I have more books I want to show, but they are here, and I have just, I think, 20 minutes. It's because we are rushed here. It's on time? I think it is. I'll be too fast, isn't it? Okay, thank you. This is my contact. If you want to go to Plana, please, you are invited.